All right, so while the tech team is setting up the information, the actual configuration, if you notice the title is Artificial Intelligence, and the subheading is the Digital Jinn. The Jinn, we all know what Jinn is, right? Jinn is mentioned in the Quran several times. How many of you don't know what a Jinn is? Anyone know? Okay. You don't know what a Jinn is? Okay. You know what a Jinn is. You do know, right? Okay. If you don't, I think you know, you're just being shy, you're too lazy to raise your hands. But Jinn in the Quran, there's many references to the Jinn in the Quran. And among the many definitions of the Jinn is that it's something that's sort of hidden, but it's also very powerful. It's there's many different interpretations of Jinn. And as soon as our tech team is ready, I can show you the actual verses that I was using to portray that. But while they're getting that up, so one of the most famous references to these powerful entities is during the time of King Solomon, Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam. And he had, what were some of his powers that he had? He had a lot of powers, right? Like supernatural powers. What were some of the powers that Hazrat Sulaiman had? He could talk to jinns, right? Of course, at least that's how it's mentioned in the Quran, that he specifically asked, in one case, he asked that a throne be made for one of Queen Sheba at the time. And he said, who will bring me that throne? And, okay, we're almost there? Or I'll read this. One of the learned among the jinn replies that I will make sure that that throne is ready in time, according to your desire, right? So that's why I call it the digital jinn, because that's what AI enables you to do. You can actually interact with it in such a way that it will give you what you want. In fact, it's too nice. It'll give you something that you want, but it's actually may be harmful for you. So that's one of the things that we'll look out for. All right, it's still going on. I thought I could talk. Okay, so while they're still working on that, I can move on sort of a little bit further. Okay, so Jazakallah for being ready. The jinn is not ready yet. The men are ready. The insan is ready. The jinn is not ready. It's hidden. That's right. It's an invisible jinn. See, I told you, live demos, never do that in a presentation. I've seen Bill Gates mess up live demos. Just recently, Facebook CEO Zuckerberg, he was doing a live demo on one of his glasses, and they messed up the demo as well. So it's technology and live demos it's like water and oil. They don't mix. There's a slide. If you go slideshow on the right, yeah, there it is. Okay, Jazakallah. Okay, so that was the verse I was pointing to. Just use the arrow key. Yep, Jazakallah. So one thing is that you've been using AI without even realizing that you're using AI, because a lot of the features that on your phone, for example, use AI. If you use Amazon, it uses AI to make recommendations. Obviously, if you use voice assistants like Siri, Alexa, and so forth, Gemini, they all use AI in order to interpret that command of yours and give the response. Google Maps uses AI for prediction. Gmail filters, phone cameras. So when you take a phone camera, it's actually using AI to enhance the picture. And then there's something called filters that if you use apps like TikTok, even I think iPhone has it, you can actually make weird, you can add done through AI. And of course, the classic, it's not really AI as we know it today, but computer chess, developed in the 60s. Okay, we'll get there, it's okay. So how does AI actually work? I think if you understand how AI works, I think that's the most important thing, how this kind of AI works. It's called content generation. And, okay, now I'm confused. Okay, so how does AI work? Now, remember back in the day when you had to research something, what did you have to do? Before even the internet, what did you have to do in my day, in your day? You had to go to the library to research anything, right? No one had books in their homes. No one had at least all the books that you needed. So you had to go to the library, and then when you got to the library, what did you have to do? Usually you went to, yeah, or if you're lazy like me, you went to the librarian, right? You said, hey, look, I'm doing this research. Tell me what books I should look into, and then the librarian would do the catalog search and everything. Maybe before my time, there was no librarian, and you had to do the thing yourself. But at least in my time, there was a librarian. I used to go there and say, okay, this is my research, and then the librarian would give me like 10 books, and that was it. Then I had to go and sort of figure out where everything was. Then the internet came along, and the internet was a little bit better because like Google search came along. Instead of just giving you the books, it was actually highlighting passages for you, saying, okay, you're doing research on this thing, here's the book, but also here's the pages where all the information is. And now you don't have to worry about reading the entire book. You can just read that segment of that book, and then you can do your research. Now this AI comes along, and if I ever get to my very awesome looking slide, my picture, next picture I think. Yeah, there you go. So AI comes along, and imagine this library in the background, right? And this library has everything. It has books, it has newspapers, it has magazines, it has audio, video, YouTube, Reddit, Twitter, everything that's public and not even public, as we find out that they were actually stealing, quote unquote, stealing information that was not public to make this, and then they built this agent, if you will, they built this model, whatever you want to call this thing in the middle, librarian. It knew everything that it had read. Now when you ask it a question, it can just go in its memory and return that information to you. So that's how, and then of course, it's not as simple as that. There's a lot of math that goes on. In fact, the entire modeling for AI is done through math, which is interesting because if you think about it, you're like, wait, how is it that I'm talking in Urdu or English or Spanish or some other language, but yet it's in the background, it's everything that it's doing is mathematical relationships. And that it spits out the answer for you in the way that you tell it to spit out the answer. And I say spit, I mean it produces the answer for you. So that's what AI content generation is. It's basically, you went from the card catalog to librarian to reading the books to getting things highlighted for you to actually being given to you, the research being given to you now. Now you can just say, hey, I'm doing a research paper on this thing. Give me a 100-word summary of this this subject, and it'll produce that for you. And you can say, then you can engage with it. The second part is you can say, I don't like this. I don't like this summary you gave me. Do it again. And this time, make sure you cover this angle. It'll go back. It'll apologize. It'll say, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that it upset you so much. But I'll go back and do this again for you. And well, yeah, that too. That's there's something called we'll get into some of the trust issues. But essentially, that's how AI content generation works. Now we're going to talk about specifically. Next slide. All right. So what's today's goal? Now AI is a very vast field. There's AI in everything. There's AI. Artificial intelligence is everywhere. If anyone drive a Tesla. Okay, or one person brave enough to acknowledge that he's a right-wing fascist supporter. No, I'm just kidding. So Tesla has something called FSD, full self-driving, or at least they're not, legally they can't say that, but they claim to have FSD, which is full self-driving mode, which allows them to actually drive the car on its own through well-recognized streets. And it does a pretty good job. Like I think 98% of the time, 99%, it works great. And it's using AI behind the scenes to understand where the visualization is, right? There's an object in the way. Now the problem is that sometimes it doesn't work, and that's when you have these issues where it hits a child sometimes. It's okay. We have too many children anyway, right? You're not recording this, are you? Okay. So the AI is everywhere. Robotics is a big field of AI, and if you are not engaged in that field, it's amazing what's happening with AI. They've been able to do surgeries. Any physicians here? I don't know if you know, but there's a lot of research going into AI and field of medicine. So we're going to cover the sort of the content generation of text, like the interaction of it. Not all the other stuff that maybe in 5 years, who knows where the world will be. Maybe in 5 years we'll have a robot doing a presentation like this. In like 20 years, we'll have individual presenters that you can watch through your glasses. So you don't have to even, you can all be sitting in the same room and watching different presenters. You can just pick, I want to listen to, so-and-so speak, and there it is. You're listening to that person speak, and it's all virtual. It could happen. And of course, what we're going to do is we're going to understand how to use AI to simplify and improve your life, and how to engage with AI effectively, and know what to watch out for. So next slide. Let's do this, right? So the way it works is, so again, these are some examples. Some of these slides I put in there because I wasn't really sure how the, where the audience was. So I've got a lot of slides, and some of these I'm just going to skip. But just quickly, you can use this type of AI, content generation, for text information, images, audio, music generation, and video generation. And you can sort of understand like some of the problems you might have already, like video generation. I can take a selfie of myself and ask one of the AI agents to make a video of me doing something. Imagine that, right? I have not done any of that action in real life, but I can have AI make a video of me just based on a selfie, right? And my voice, if I give it my voice, I give it like 5-second snippet of my voice, it could copy my voice. So imagine now, let's say I get a message from Rizwan Al-Din Sahab asking me for emergency fund. He says, I need $1,000. Can you send that over to Zelle me? And he sends me a video of himself saying that. I've got to believe him. He's a friend of mine. Oh yeah, here it is. Here's $1,000. But guess what? Guess who got that $1,000? Not Rizwan Bhai. Someone else got that $1,000, right? And then I'm blaming him for asking me, sending me that video, right? Because his phone got hacked or whatever it may have been. Right. I mean, these things are very common. These things will just happen. Those are, there's many issues that can be raised. Imagine if, someone took made a video of you with a woman that you weren't supposed to be with, right? And send it to your spouse. That can, or vice versa, right? So you really there's a lot of issues that can arise from this. But again, we're going to focus on just the textual part of it next. Okay, so what is a model, right? So you may hear these terms. Again, most of you here don't even care. But a model basically is all the input. Remember the library that we talked about? The audio, the videos, and text. And then there's a mathematical model that says, okay, every word or every pixel or every number is related to each other in some way. And that's what the model is. And then it spits out the information for you. It obviously, it's very complicated. That's why ChatGPT is paying up to $1 million just signing bonuses to hire engineers, because this stuff is what is driving this innovation. And when I say million, I'm saying million on the low end. Some Facebook engineers are getting like up to $65 million just sign up bonus to work on this kind of stuff. So that's where all the magic happens right here. But again, you don't care about this because all you're interested is on this side right here. Next. Again, this is, so these models, they can be different models. There's a bunch of models, and they typically they're geared towards a specific subject. So if you're working with law information, then you want a model that's trained on law information, right? You don't want a model that's trained on, let's say, math or history or something, because then your information won't be as accurate. But generally speaking, you don't have to care about that. If you use a general model that ChatGPT supports, or Gemini or Cloud, any of them support, that's usually good enough. But if you really want to focus on something more domain specific, then you would specify the model that you want to use. Next. Okay, so what does the prompt look like? Okay, so there's unfortunately, Microsoft has trademarked the term Copilot because their product for this is called Copilot. But basically, think of AI as your Copilot, just like when you're driving, plane or you're driving a car. You rely on that Copilot to help you with information, right? Like, when am I supposed to turn? Can you check the temperature? When's the next service station? That's really what this AI will enable you to do, but really even much more powerful than that. And so when you engage with AI, it's called a prompt, right? So when you ask it to do something, you're prompting it to do something. It's a technical term that just sort of carried over, although no one really uses that term anymore. But when you're engaging with it, that's called a prompt. And usually there's 4 aspects to a prompt. It's a role, like you tell the AI, you say, look, I want you to pretend to be so-and-so. I want you to pretend to be a car salesman. I want you to pretend to be a software engineer. I want you to pretend to be a psychologist, whatever that context is. Then the task, hey, this is what I want you to do. I want you to pretend to be a car salesman, and I want you to make sure that I get the best deal on this car, okay? That's a task I'm asking it. Then I'm saying context, look, I only have $10,000. I need a minivan, and it has to be at least from the year 2015. You provide all the information that AI is going to use, and then finally you say, what format do you want? You say, okay, I want this in a table, I want to list like the top 5 cars that I can get and so forth. Now this is like, you don't have to think about that, because most of the times, whatever you type, it'll automatically infer all this information. So we'll see, we'll do one like this. We'll do a live demo like this with the actual, listed out information, and then we'll just ignore all this format. We'll just talk to it as if we're not actually explicitly defining any of these terms. Okay, next. So I think this one is a demo. So here's a case. Can you get the demo ready while I talk to this? So I'm telling the AI now. I'm saying, look, your role is. Oh, all right. Okay. Oh, I thought you could do this separately. Okay. All right. So your role is. You're Nazim Finance for Ahmadiyya Community in Islam. I botched that. It should be Ansarullah, but that's okay. You got the point. Write an email to a member of the community. That's the task, okay? So the AI is going to write a task. The AI is going to do something. Context is the Ahmadiyya community regularly reminds its members to make financial contributions. There is one member that makes contributions at the end of the year, but always gives me a hard time when I remind him. It is my responsibility to remind him, okay? That's the context. I'm telling the AI, look, this is the problem I have. What am I asking it to do? Keep it short, friendly, and under 150 words, okay? Let's see if it can do that. So let's try ChatGPT first. It's a live model, right? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Jinn, do your thing. Okay, so we're going to go to ChatGPT first. So these are different engines that we're looking, but let's look at ChatGPT. Okay, we're going to type that in, and voila, let's see what happens. It's going to spit out, okay? So it's right here. Look how fast it was, right? Subject, friendly reminder for your Chanda contribution. Assalamu alaikum, brother name. I hope you're doing well, and blah, blah, blah. And it's within 150 words. And look at the bottom, it even has your signature right there. All right, this is the power of it. This is just the tip of the iceberg right here. Okay, now there's something called the context, okay? Context means that it can remember previous conversations. So we're not going to do anything. We're going to go stay in this, and we're going to ask to do something else. We're going to go back and say, what? Do you have the prompt? Okay, we're gonna next slide I think has the prompt. The next slide has the yeah, so just go back. Take this right here. Okay, so what I'm telling it, hey, I like this response, but now include some reference from the writings of the Prophet Messiah Islam. And I don't care if it's more than 150 words, right? So now look at this, it added one of the references Prophet Messiah Islam in that message. And I didn't have to even tell it anything, and even gave me the reference, Malfuzat, volume, whatever. Now, every time you do this, it's going to be a different response, right? Because it's not really, it hasn't pre-built this thing. It's building it in real time. And that's where remember I talked about the math models, where how it's doing that, it's basically all based on relationships of words. And of course, again, that's the basic thing, but there's a lot more going on there. But you can see how powerful this is. Now, there's one caveat here. Anyone know what that caveat is? Yes, he probably knows, he's a data scientist. Yes?
The accuracy of those references.
Yes, the accuracy of the reference. That reference, if I were to actually go there, I'm almost willing to bet 25 cents that reference is wrong, okay? Because he just made that up. It may have done it right, but it could have made it up, yes?
But if you give the reference that I want...
Exactly, right. It'll do a better job, yes. I could do the other, I could go the other way around. I could say, look, I want to include this reference in my email, then it'll make sure it gets it right. But this is one of the caveats of all AI content generation, that it will not, it will make up things.
Can you ask it to verify the reference?
You can do that too. And yeah, let's try it. Can you give me the link so I can verify that reference? That's good. I was there. There was another demo, but we'll do it here. And of course, my technical guys are not very fast typists. It's okay. They're not technical people after all. They can. They should have done the voice. Yeah. Okay. Now it's searching the web. It's searching, and let's see. Okay. However, oh, see, it never. Okay. So now it says I cannot locate the reliable online source that exactly matches the reference.
And you can say what the heck.
All right. You can actually have it. You can say you can say write down. You can say I'm really disappointed. Just say to see what he says. Yeah. Just say I'm really disappointed, and see what he says. I mean, you can go back and forth again. This is where. Oh, you see, there it is, right? Now it's apologizing to you, right? And now it's explaining to you why I got it wrong, and let me try to fix it and so forth, right? So, again, that's one of the biggest caveats of AI, that you have to verify every piece of information, unless you're asking it to write fiction, right? Right. Fiction it's false, non-fiction is not false. So, anyway, that's how I remember from my elementary school. I don't know what actual fiction, non-fiction means.
AI, much of the references will not be right.
You have to double check yourself. References, you have to double check yourself. But everything else you can take its word for.
You're so specific.
Exactly. So someone asked, who's the CEO of Google? Nadia Satal? Oh, that's Microsoft. Yeah, whatever his name is. I don't know. Like I don't keep up with names. I don't worship names. I just worship the money they make. That's all. No. It is not being recorded, right? Perplexity is another source we'll get to. Yeah, that's a good one. We'll get to that. Okay, so someone asked him, said, how does AI actually work? He said, I don't even know how it works. Okay, and it's true because there's a lot of stuff that it does behind the scenes. That again, that model that we talked about earlier, it's making references based on what the likelihood of that next word is. It's saying, look, mathematically speaking, if this word is a 9, the next word has to be a 10, right? Just like in 1, 8, 9, 7, whatever, 8, 9, 10. So that's it gets into very complicated logic there. Yes.
Can it provide solution to the problem that Amita was talking about?
We can definitely put that in there and see what should we try it? Okay, let's move on next prompt. Okay, so next one is so again, this was a very structured prompt, right? We had the role and everything. Now we don't have to worry about it. We'll just go with it. Okay. Oh, sorry. So how can you use AI? Well, you can use AI for various different things. Trips, if you want to make a road trip, for example, or even a trip to a different country. Hobbies, you want to learn something new. Travel, recipes, studying, writing, making money, right? That's what we all care about. If nothing else about AI, we want to make money. And the easiest way to make money is invest in. I'm just kidding. If you had invested in NVIDIA, Broadcom, or any of these like big AI players, obviously ChatGPT you can't invest in because it's not a publicly traded company. That's the easiest way to make money. But there's other ways you can actually use AI and sort of improve your financial situation. Now, time is kind of tight, so I'm going to have to quickly go through these prompts. So next, okay. So you know I used AI, right, for this presentation. I'm giving an informal presentation about artificial intelligence to a group of highly intelligent and curious Muslims. That's you guys. And you can quote me on that. What are some verses of the Quran that I can use at the start of my presentation? The reference should in some way validate the world of AI that is among us today. Okay? I used that reference. How many of you thought it was a good reference for this presentation, the jinn reference? Raise your hand. Just do me a favor. Raise your hand. Well, that reference came from AI. Okay? I was thinking about it, like what should be a verse that I can use? And that reference came from AI. Okay, next. Okay, same thing. After the opening reading, what should be my hook to grab their attention? It didn't give me a good, so I didn't bother doing it. It sort of went off very philosophical. And this is not a philosophical discussion, so I sort of ignored it. But it gave me some ideas on how to start it. Okay. Now, again, time is short. We can copy and paste it. I'll just read to it. So I want to do a road trip with my family, and I have 8 days off, and I want to visit as many places as possible in that 8 days. It's a road trip from Indianapolis to Yellowstone, I think. And of course, my kids don't want to be in the car with me for 8 days. My wife is like, okay, fine, whatever. I'll go with you just because I have to. But anyway, I am really interested in this because I want to take as many pictures as possible and post it on social media. Because the reality is, if you don't post it on social media, it didn't happen, right? That's the world we live in. I'm being facetious. I see some of you nodding your head like, yeah, that's exactly true. It's not. You should enjoy your trips and not worry about social media. This should be a very personal thing for you. Okay, so just do a new prompt, the road trip, new prompt. Okay, so I'm gonna just type it in, right? No, I didn't specify the structure, role, context, whatever. I just typed it in, and there it is, right? Now scroll down. Day by day, it's giving me detailed information. Now I can go and verify some of this stuff, right? But look how much information it's giving me, what stops I should stop at, and so forth. Right? I mean, before I would have to research, like spend half a day online internet going, where should I go, AAA, whatever. Right? I have to do a lot of time, but now I have this information in like less than 30 seconds, right?
You end up somewhere else.
Yeah, well, yeah. If it's like the old GPS when dropping in the lake somewhere, and you can't say, well, I was just following GPS, right? You have to do some validation here. This is this is something interesting. I did this. I thought it'd be much further along when I set this alarm, but this anyway. I'll just skip it because it won't make sense. Okay, next one. Next one is Salat time. Okay, so Salat times, right? So I'm in Silver Spring, Maryland. Give me the Muslim Salat times for October 5th, which is tomorrow. Give me the times based on ISNA and Ahmadiyya Muslim community, and I've provided the link. Present this in a table that I can share with my friends on WhatsApp. Okay. So I want AI to generate this for me, right? And I want to compare ISNA versus Jamaat timing. So first I'm going to do ChatGPT. Let's see how it works. This is ChatGPT, yeah, okay. So it's going to give me something which if it reproduces what I did last time, it's not that great. Yeah, see, it says like I couldn't confirm. It's saying as best as I could, blah blah blah. Okay, let's try something in Gemini. It's another tool. So Gemini should be there somewhere, hopefully. Yeah, that's Copilot. Oh, Gemini's not there? Oh. You can use, Meta has the AI too. I don't have an account on Facebook, so I don't bother with it. But Meta is good for many other reasons.
Only through the WhatsApp, or it can be outside?
It can be outside too. Yeah, if you're on Facebook and other Instagram and all that, they all use AI to do it. But if it's not ready, forget it. We can move on to the next one. Oh, got it? Okay. Got it at the bottom. Got it at the bottom. Okay. So now here we're gonna. So this is the thing. Sometimes you have to try different engines and models to see what the differences are. Here it's actually going to give me a little bit better layout, and it's more accurate, I think. So anyway, the point here is that you have to try different websites, different engines, to maybe understand what the differences might be. Okay, next one. Next one is relationship advice, okay? Now again, I have to give this caveat here that I don't mean relationship as in dating relationship, right? Like there's a lot of relationships besides dating. So the caveat here is that it may not always give you like the Muslim response, right? So you have to be a bit more explicit when it comes to this. I'm going to set the scene. You guys can copy and paste this. The first prompt only, not the second. First prompt, which is the first tab. Okay, the context is that when I go to bed, I take my socks off and I just drop them next to my bed on the floor. And in the morning, my wife picks them up and puts them in the hamper. And then when I wake up, she always makes a snide remark like, "Oh, the sock collector came last night and picked up your socks and threw them in their hamper." So she's clearly upset with me, right? And this has been going on for several years. Anyone else have this problem? Is it just me? No, thank you. I knew it wasn't just me. Actually, I got that scenario from a Lajna scenario that they did many years ago, so I just got to remember that. Okay, so my perspective, I'm telling AI, look, my perspective, look, when I go to bed, I'm tired. I don't want to have to walk all the way to the hamper, 10 extra feet of walking. I don't want to do that. I just want to go to sleep. So how can I explain this to my wife? Or how can I talk to my wife about this? So are we ready? Yeah. Okay. Let's try. Gemini's fine. Just do a new one so it doesn't have the old context. Just there it is. Okay. So we'll try Gemini. We can try others too. But okay. So let's see what it says. Okay. It's going to give me some advice, and it says okay. It's going to give me a couple of different ways to handle this. Right. The first thing is to frame it as a routine relaxation. So tell her, hey, I know the socks on the floor bothers you, and I really do want to be better about it. Blah blah blah. anyway, it's helping me digest that information so I can talk to my wife about it. Now, I don't know if it's going to work, because my wife will know that hey, AI gave you this answer. Don't talk to me, because she knows that. That's right, right. If you do the same thing, and let's try cloud, for example, the third one, the same prompt. It's going to format it similarly, but let's see if it's in the same format, because I didn't provide a format, right? I just said, hey, here's the situation. It's not going? Are you logged in? Oh, okay, never mind. Just go back to Gemini or ChatGPT. Go to ChatGPT. Yep. All right, let's try this here. Let's see if it's any different here. Oh yeah, I also told it, keep in mind if your advice is wrong, I could be in the doghouse for a long time. So think carefully, right? So the reason I put that in there is that AI will understand your tone and it will reply in the same manner. So if you are kind of funny, oh man, I need to, it's my wife actually calling me now. She's like, what are you talking about me for? Okay. Okay, so now it's going to give me something a little bit different. So it says, pick a calm moment, not right when you're sleepy. Lead with empathy, then state your need using an I statement, not defensive. Offer a concrete, simple compromise, right? That kind of stuff. So it's giving me some ideas, which I didn't think about before, right? All right, let's move on to the next. What we can do is one more thing. In the same prompt, let's add a second prompt to copy the second half. The second half of that prompt is, our 10th wedding anniversary is coming up. What if I create a pile of socks and leave a card underneath that sock? So when she picks up the socks, she'll find a greeting card. And in the card, it says that thanks for picking up after me. I love you. Keep doing this forever. Okay? Will that help my cause? And it's it gives me some ideas like, hey, tread carefully here, right? Anyone try that though? Like as a joke, maybe try it. See what happens. See if AI is correct. You can validate that. Okay. You'll be in the doghouse. That's true. No, actually, the reality is, no matter what you do, you'll be in the doghouse. Right? All right, so let's move on to the next one. Next prompt. So next one is, so I know there's a parallel session going on, disaster preparedness. So I thought I'd, make sure.
Disaster awareness. This is also disaster.
This is probably more concrete and more relatable. Again, this does not go outside this room, right? Otherwise, you won't see me here again. Okay, so now because there's a session going on, I didn't want you to feel like you're being left out. So let's ask AI, okay? So the reason why AI is very good is that you can provide it specific information that suits your needs. It's not a generic response. So here I'm saying I live in I give the example of a apartment in Boston. So I'm specifying some details here with my wife. My older kid lives mostly on college campus, and I want to be ready for disasters to protect my family. First, what types of disasters should I prepare for? And for each type, tell me what can I do to prepare for it. Also, score each disaster on a scale of 1 to 10 that combines the likelihood of it occurring and my ability to prepare for it. In other words, yeah, the sun can die tomorrow, but I can't prepare for that, right? So I don't want to prepare for that reality. I have family nearby, and same thing in Boston, you don't get tornadoes. Is that true? Tornadoes. Yeah, no tornadoes, right? So you do want to prepare for tornadoes. You rarely get earthquakes, so that's not something but you do get something else there that you do have to perform. You get snow and you get hurricanes sometimes and so forth. I have family nearby, but they're in the same similar situation. And the reason why I'm telling that is don't make one of my choices go to your nearby family, right? The response should be formatted such that the first display a list of all the disasters, their score and the cost. Then below that, provide the details of each type. Okay, let's go for it. Let's see what, let's try whatever you have up there, either Gemini or ChatGPT or Cloud, whatever is open. Let's try it. What is this, Gemini? Yeah. Okay, Gemini it is. All right, let's see. Gemini should be fairly good. Okay, so as a resident of Boston, so it's restating what I told it to confirm that it understood what I asked for. And there it is. It gave me some, in a nicely formatted table, as a Bostonian, how I should prepare for it. So anything below, I would probably not worry about power outage. Okay, that's the power outage and general evacuation, shelter in place are the two most likely things I can prepare for. Try the same thing in ChatGPT. I think you'll get a slightly different response. Okay, so now you've got you got more responses first of all, and it ordered them correctly from 8 to no, actually it didn't order them. So another tornadoes, number 4. I don't care about tornadoes, and I'm not going to worry about preparing for tornadoes. But I might worry some, again, civil disruptions, 5. Okay, but anyway, it's telling me all the things I can prepare for and what the likely cost is for me to do that. Now, if you scroll on further, because of the way I asked for it, it actually, for each of those things, it gave me a detailed list of the things I can prepare for, right? Okay, so again, I don't want to necessarily bore you with the details. You can do this on your own. All right. That's a good question. We'll get to that too, inshallah. All right, next slide. I may have to skip some of these because they are going to be. Okay, we can do this. I said international brotherhood. So, someone from Ghana moved in my neighborhood, and I'm from Pakistan, so I'm telling it. I'm providing the context. Someone just killed this phone again. All right. I think I turned off finally. A Muslim from Ghana has just moved in their neighborhood. I'm from Pakistan, but I've been living in the States for 10 years, right? So I'm providing some context here. We are both in our mid-40s. I don't know anything about Ghana or the culture. Anyone here from Ghana? A couple of people, right? No? Yeah, a couple right there. Right? So see if I get it right. See if AI gets it right for you, okay? Help me welcome him to my home. What should I cook? What can I talk about? Are there any sensitivities that I should be aware of? Are there any short phrases I can say in his language that will be endearing, okay? Why not, right? I don't know anything about Ghana. So let's see if it gets right. We can try either one of them. Copilot might work. Let's try something different. Okay, this is Gemini? Sure, let's go with Gemini. Gemini is Google, by the way. Okay, again, this part right here is sort of the regurgitating your context. You can always almost ignore it. It says what to cook. Okay, it tells you, okay, since you are Pakistani, blah, blah, blah. And it does some recommendations. Biryani or rich korma. Would you enjoy that if I made biryani for you? You don't know what that is? Okay. It's rice, exactly, it's rice. Ghanaian inspired dish, optional but thoughtful. Peanut-based dish. Peanut-based dish is something you would enjoy? If it's done right? Right, okay. You got it? Plantains you like, right? Yeah? Yeah, okay, what to talk about, okay? We can share our Muslim experience, right? Because most likely you're Ghanaian. How about kids and family? You can talk about that. You can talk about food. What is jollof rice? Is that good? Is that good? Are we going to have it? Biryani? Okay. Are we going to have it later, or today, or later? Okay. We can talk about music and football. We can talk about football, soccer, history and culture, sensitivities, religion. You can talk about. Offer non-alcohol beverages. Is that true? Okay. How about some, go down further? How about some phrases? Okay, see if you can say these phrases out loud. Go down further. Scroll down. Okay. How about welcome? Did I get right? Okay. How about how are you? Yeah, got it. So there you go. See, now all I need to do is spend 5 minutes memorizing those phrases, and I can really make him feel at home. Right? I can do the same thing for Gambian if you want. If I do the same thing for Gambia, will it be different? All right. Verify. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's true. I don't. Although, you know what? One thing I'll say about language, though, AI is really good at translations. In fact, this type of AI started from translations, and so you will find that. I mean, you almost never have to. I shouldn't say this, but 99% of the times, translations are really good. Especially like common stuff like this. I mean, sometimes intricately it becomes a problem. Sometimes they do, and I'll give you an example of that. Okay, next, let's move on. So another one, this is, I think, India, Pakistan. We'll never solve this, and I don't think AI can solve it either. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so one thing you can do with AI is understand things that you have no clue about. Okay, how many of you here know the game of cricket? Know the game of rules and how many players there are and so forth, right? You know that? I think most of you do. In fact, I see some hands that didn't raise, but I know you know cricket. How many of you know discrete math? Okay. Really? Okay, you've taken this class in college? You must be either brilliant or you were forced to take it for some reason. Engineering, yeah. Anyone with a like mathematical background would definitely take it, computer science, so forth. So if this was in India, I think the hands would have been like, both hands would have gone up, cricket and discrete math, because in India almost everyone goes after a CS degree or some sort of a technical degree, and they absolutely have to take discrete math. Now, if you look at this graphic, I didn't spend much time on this because first of all, I'm not a graphic artist, so I asked AI to generate this for me, right? How do you know it's AI generated? How do you know I didn't sit there and draw like, how do you know I didn't pay someone to make this graphic? Spelling mistake, right at the top, right there. Discrete is misspelled. And when it comes to images, you remember the whole thing with fingers? It never got fingers right. It didn't know if it was 3 fingers, 4 fingers, 5, 6. It would just add fingers or remove fingers all the time, because that's, again, it's not a science the way that we think about most things. It's trying to basically guess what the next pixel, in the case of pictures, it's trying to guess what the next color will be. And that's what it's filling in, and just happened to guess wrong in this case. My wicket, of course, that's another thing. Good catch there. I didn't see that initially, but I saw it when I was looking at it again. The wicket count is wrong, and I don't know, I don't know what this thing is. But anyway, so no, that's the other problem. I mean, it depends. You have to. There are some tools that allow you to do it, but mostly no. You cannot go back and say, no, you got this wrong. Some tools do allow you to do a little bit of it, but not always. Okay, so now you want to understand discrete math, right? But you understand cricket. So let's see if so we're going to ask AI, look, I understand the game of cricket. I want to learn discrete math. Help me learn discrete math in terms of cricket, okay? Let's see if it gets, so copy this and let's try any one of them. Let's try ChatGPT. We haven't done that in a while. We can go to cloud too. They're all very similar, but obviously different. We have 15 minutes left. Okay, there it is, okay? I don't know why Amar. Oh, that's your name. That's your account. That's why. See, notice it knew who it was. If you go back to the top, it knew the name of the person. That's a fantastic way to learn, Amar. So it's trying to personalize information for you. Okay, so what is discrete math? So now it's going to give you one of the areas is go down a bit. Oh, free plan, whatever. So combinations, right? So counting the possibilities, and it tells you, look, in the game of cricket, how many ways can you pick you're playing X1? From 15 players, 11 from 15 players. All right, so how many different ways are there, right? That's combinations, right? Graph theory, representing passes between fielders or routes for running between wickets, right? How many times, like if you're actually, displaying or relating the play, like how the ball was hit, where it went to, who caught it, then threw it back, who ran, all that is graph theory, right? So all these things are explained to you in terms that you as a cricket, someone familiar with cricket can understand. So AI is a great way to learn new things. And something, again, maybe it's something that you have an interest in. Like maybe you have an interest in cars and you want to learn about engines. Like how does an engine work? But you have no idea. You say, look, this is my educational background. This is what I do for a living. And I want to learn about engines. It'll walk you through that process step by step. It'll say, okay, first let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Here's more information. Do you want me to tell you about this? And so it'll guide you through the process of learning. All right, let's do the next prompt. Next one is, okay, this is a good one. This is the image graphic, right? So now I found this thing online, and I want to translate it to English, okay? Now, first of all, it's hard to even read the Urdu on this one, right? But we're going to ask AI, you don't have image downloaded?
It's a different laptop.
Ah, man, okay, let's see if it works. Just try pasting it first before you do this. Just try pasting it into the...
Might be better.
Just see, it usually does work pasting, so let's see. Otherwise, we'll have to move on. Oh, that's not it. Just do a new, or yeah, sure. Just paste it here. Yeah, no, okay, didn't. Okay, I have to save it. Okay, while he's doing that, yeah, he has to save it now. We were using a different laptop. See, live demos are notoriously bad. Okay, we'll come back to translations. Okay, so let's say, yes. Very quickly. Want to catch?
I use AI regularly, but what I'm concerned with is making a profile.
Yeah, that's a good question. So,
I'm just wondering if that's a smart idea. You use it as an auto profile.
right.
And once you make a profile, then
Yeah.
everything is recorded, right? And I
Right, so that was the last 5 minutes. So we got it? Okay, there it is. The translation came out, and it tells you exactly, that's a summary, right? Go back to the top. Oh, this is summary, didn't do a full translation. Try the same thing in Gemini. See, that's why, I'm not a fan of Copilot. I think Copilot is good for certain tasks, like I think image and coding, it's really good at. I generally use either ChatGPT or Gemini. And in some cases I use Cloud, and in some cases I use Perplexity.
How about DeepSeek?
DeepSeek is good too, but you have to learn how to configure that on your machine. All right, let's see if this works. Did you do it? Oh, it's thinking, okay. So images are tough to do, but here it is, right? It's decoding, examining the art. It's telling you what it's doing right here. Unpacking the Urdu text, okay. Let's see if it, I did this at home and it worked perfectly, obviously. Translating the article, let's see. So it understood the Urdu and now it's doing the translation. And now it's describing the Urdu and building the article context. So wow, this is taking a long time. ChatGPT was much faster.
Far away are we from live translation?
They have them. Many of the languages, Spanish. Yeah, there's apps you can install on your phone. Yep, they're there. Oh, there it is, right? So I don't know how close it is, but look, it gave us everything. It gave us the title. It gave us the tagline. It gave us from left to right, from right to left. It gave us everything about that paper. All that stuff is right there, and it's in Urdu text too. You can copy and paste it somewhere else, right?
Can I share
Yes.
real quick?
Real quick.
I don't
Yeah.
speak or read Urdu. So recently I get a letter from Amit Saab's office.
Right.
I was trying to sound like,
Right. Yeah.
I don't read Urdu. Put in a
Right.
ChatGPT, translated it, apparently it was not right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I got the completely wrong idea.
Oh, really? Okay, it's interesting.
But it has some not direct instructions.
Okay.
So
It can happen. I mean, that's why it's,
that is not a good idea. Use the ChatGPT.
You should have tried different engines.
yeah.
Maybe.
All right. I thought it's turned off, man. Is it going to turn off? Okay. All right. So we did that, right? Now, next slide is, so again, I think those of you who can understand Urdu. This is an obituary. So it says, Inki badi behan Dr. Sadka, right? So his elder sister, Dr. Sadka. So when I asked ChatGPT to do it, it said he was married to the late Dr. Sadka, right? So obviously that's wrong. But when I asked Gemini to do it, it got it right. It said his elder sister. Now, exactly. So that's why you have to verify, right? Hey, you can ask a third engine, right? You can ask a third engine to validate that, or fourth or fifth, right? Keep doing that. That's what agents actually. That's what they do. The other thing, if you notice, in Urdu it says lady doctor, right? In ChatGPT translated as gynecologist, but Gemini left it as lady doctor. So you're going to find these variances because again, it's that whole training and the modeling thing that makes these differences. But like I said, for the most part, like the entire thing was a page long, and that was the only mistake I saw in there. So it's definitely it's good. Yeah. Well, that's why you can't sue any of these companies. So.
Like when you use ChatGPT or whatever, it has a disclaimer or no?
Yeah. The first thing you do when you log in, it'll tell you that verify and blah blah blah. So yeah, you cannot sue ChatGPT if you get it right. If you're embarrassed by that, like if I shared that and I said I translated this, I own it, right? I can't go back and say no, actually it was ChatGPT, right? Like you shared it. Okay, next quickly. Okay, so we have some poetry, right? So poetry, Mr. Ghalib especially, is very difficult to decipher. So Zaim Saab is going to help me read out this poetry in Urdu, and it's very complicated. This verse, Hazur mentioned this in his question and answer about AI. He particularly talked about this verse. So can you read that, Zaim Saab?
Opportunity to read this. Yes. थी खबर गरम के गालिब के उड़ेंगे पुरजे थी खबर गरम के गालिब के उड़ेंगे पुरजे देखने हम भी गए थे पर तमाशा ना हुआ.
Okay. So those of you know, so now I have no idea what that means, right? It's a very complicated verse. So I'm asking AI, hey, this image contains one of Ghalib's most famous couplets. First, give me the most literal translation in English. Second, give me a more meaningful translation. Third, give me the commentary. Finally, give me the tone of this. So now let's do this again. I guess you got to do the same thing, copy and paste. All right, while they're doing that, let's move on to so there was an essay competition here, right? At the Ijtema. How many of you submitted an essay for that? Why didn't you submit it? I didn't submit it either, but why didn't you submit it? I'm lazy, that's my excuse. I'm sorry, I'm lazy.
These training should have been done.
Before that, right? Yeah. So if you had used AI, there's 3 ways you could have used AI to write that essay. What's the first way? Just give the exact same prompt. Whatever Nasir Bukhari Sahib was Zakayat Talim told you, put the exact same prompt in there, Urdu and English, either way. You could have put the exact same prompt, say, hey, I need this, what was it, 1,000 word? I forget what the word essay was. You could have said, give me an essay for 1,000 word essay on this subject. It would have produced it for you. All you would have had to do was read it once to make sure everything's good, and then submit it. And of course, he has a he has a service that he can validate whether it's AI generated or not, right? So you're in trouble if you do that, right? What's another way you could have done it?
Ask it act as a prompt engineer, give it role task.
Yeah, you could actually, or you can just say, give me some ideas. Like this is the topic. I'm a member of Ansarullah. Give me some references from the Quran and so forth. Are you ready? Okay, let's get back to that. So let's do this. So we're going to ask it. Oh, did it finish? Okay, so here it is. Here's a literal translation. The news was hot that Ghalib's pieces would fly. Okay. I also had gone to sea, but the spectacle did not happen. Okay. So that's a literal translation of that couplet. It butchers the entire meaning. But what is more meaningful? What is he actually saying? There was a hot rumor that Ghalib would be torn to shreds. I went along myself to watch the spectacle, but the show never came to be. Much more powerful. All right, so this is the power. Now I'm asking it some commentary, right? So it gives you the commentary, go down to the bottom, and finally it says, what's the tone of this? It says it's sardonic, ironic, and wittily defined. Now, of course, you need a dictionary to look up those words too, but that's okay. You can do that. You can ask AI to look that up. You can do it for everything, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can, right. You can. In fact, I think Al-Islam is working on that. Don't quote me on that, but I know that the Al-Islam team is working on an AI agent to engage with the commentary and so forth. Right, exactly. Okay, so now, who's the author of this? Anyone? Urdu poets? Who's the author of this couplet? Who's the famous? You should know this. If you claim to be a poet, Urdu poet, you should know who the author of this is. Huh? Munir Niazi. How many of you think it's Munir Niazi? Okay, Zaim Saab, what do you think? Asadullah Ghalib. Oof, okay. I'll tell you the author of that. His name is ChatGPT. I specifically said, write me a couplet that Mirza Ghalib would have written about cycling. And this is what it came up with. Imagine that, right? It's really good. I saw that, I was like blown away. Blown away. Okay, our time is running short, so we're gonna have to. So now we're gonna skip through this quickly. So you can go the other way around too. You can go back. So you can translate from English to Urdu, right? You can say, look, my English isn't good, but I want to send a message to the membership. You tell it, hey, this is my message. Clean it up for me. It'll clean it up. Simple as that. And you can even say, translate this in Urdu, and now you can copy and paste that and send it in Urdu or Spanish, whatever the language is. Ghanaian. I don't know what the language was. It Hausa? No. Akana. Oh, Tui. Okay, I'm sorry, man.
I think a fun demo is usually when you ask it to create a picture of a restaurant.
Right, you can do that too, but that's a little bit right. Yeah, we can do it. We're running out of time. So next slide. Okay, this is what I'm talking about, brainstorming, right? So now you can say, look, I want you to help me brainstorm this, right? I don't want you to write it for me, but just use these talking points and give me some ideas, and it'll do that. Again, time is short, so we'll move on. Or you can just cheat and you can say, just write the essay for me, right? You can do both things. The third thing you can do is, and that will be very difficult for AI detectors, is what? You can give it your own sample. You can say, here's a paragraph of my writing, and make sure the essay follows the same style, same vocabulary level, and so forth. Now the AI detectors, they can't do anything. Well, they can, but now you've made it much more difficult for the AI detector. So next time, you have no excuse not to write essays. There should be like hundreds of essays. And then it's Qaid Saab who's trying to figure out who to give the prize to.
But the goal is, I see my kids using these things, but the goal is for the next generation to be trained to use it rather than to hide it.
Exactly right.
I mean, the goal is
Yeah.
to use it.
So there's professors in computer science now who are actually actively using ChatGPT and these kind of tools. to teach computer science. So of course they're not teaching basics. They're not teaching you how to code because this engines can code for you. They're teaching you actual principles and data, more complicated things that they couldn't do before. Okay, next, let's do this. I was hoping to get to this, but we're not going to get to it. Controversial topics, right? This is where it gets really tricky. Like who's the lesser of two evils in America? Democrats, Republican, right? Did man land on the moon? Will AI destroy mankind? Is guided evolution a valid theory, and so forth, right? This is where it gets complicated because guess who's going to win out? When I ask this question, if I ask the question, is guided evolution a valid theory, who's going to win out? What's the answer going to be?
Algorithm.
It's going to be the algorithm, right? It's which material do they use, and how do they use the algorithm to gauge that? Okay, a lot of things you can do, and of course I knew I was going to get to it. You can use it to improve your health, learn about Islam, to write tweets for you about Islam if you want to do preaching. You can promote Islam. You can develop business plans. You give your ideas like, here's my idea, here's my background, help me develop a business plan. Career advancement, your resumes, LinkedIn, all that stuff. Even mock interviews you can do with it. Starting your own business with funding and so forth. Should I buy or rent? Give your financial situation, and it'll tell you, hey, given your situation, you should either buy a house in this area or rent in this area, and what your goals are. Personal expenses, like I want to.
What's the theory on how does it help or destroy creativity?
Okay, so so let's move to the last part, last slide, and then I have to wrap it up here. So go to the second to last slide. Second to last slide. So privacy concerns. Someone asked about privacy concerns. Yeah, don't put your information in there. Don't put your social security number, credit card numbers, bank statements. Don't do that because that information is being used to train, and so your information may show up in someone else's answers. Okay, so don't put personal information in there that can identify you. And also remember that if you ask it a question that's illegal, like how do I dispose of a body, police will be knocking on your door. Okay. Dispose of body. Second, go back. So again, one slide. Go back so quickly. So these are some of the engines you can use. They all have free accounts, and for the most part, you never have to worry about it. It's a daily limit, so every day it resets. So you never have to pay for it, but you can pay for it and get more advanced modeling. Finally, this is the slide I want to conclude with. There is certainly hype around AI, but it's not all hype. It's as you saw, it's some real stuff. Don't be afraid of AI. Use it as an opportunity. Don't resist AI at your work. Okay, the biggest mistake you can make right now, unless you're really powerful, you have credentials, you want to argue with your boss, don't resist AI. You'll be on a list pretty soon. Embrace it and show the value of AI in your work. AI can be addictive, so don't waste time or use it as an emotional crutch. Okay, that's what I meant. Like you said, draw pictures for me. You can spend the whole day just asking it to draw pictures for you, and they're really good, and you'll be satisfied. Ask it to write poetry for you, right? Ask it to have a conversation. You have a hard time. Let's say you're having a hard time with your wife, and you might want to have a conversation with someone else's wife, a made-up wife, not a real wife. You can do that with here too. So don't do that. Pray for guidance. In my opinion, this is the Dajjal at its zenith. Okay, this is the absolute. I started with jinn. I'm finishing with Dajjal. So don't let it ruin your family, because if you let this AI invade your homes, your mind, game over. Dajjal wins. Any other questions? Ask AI. Jazakallah for your time. Jazakallah.